White?
Stove, the little stove, camping stove.
Oh, yeah. There's different types of fuel, the alcohol and
Alcohol.
yeah. I don't know. I found the best is propane for me, but yeah, it's a challenge in the winter time when it's really cold out. I don't want to use propane or I can't use propane. It takes more energy and all that in the winter time when it's cold. But yeah, you say your sons go out camping and they cook out in the woods or whatever.
Yeah, they got a
Right.
rocket. It's not a rocket stove.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's an alcohol base.
Yep. Yeah, I've looked into all kinds of different ones. There's ones you can make out of a soda can or something and puts out flames. Yeah, alcohol. There's there's a lot of fumes in that alcohol too.
Oh,
I tried it a little bit and propane's not getting cheap, but I'm sticking with it. It's going up in price, but I mean,
Nothing. Seems like everything's going up.
yeah, that's the prices of food in general. It's just so I'm lowering my standards a little bit just to keep up with the raising of the costs. Like what, today's a work week or whatever, we should be like working or something, but whatever. I'll just lower my standards, just let everybody else jump in the rat race trying to stay ahead of each other.
Yeah, I worked all night. I'm done working.
You worked all night, you said?
No, I've worked all my life.
Oh yeah, okay.
45 years. Or
Okay.
like that.
And yeah, all right.
So I'm working on my own place.
Yeah, so you're maybe qualified for Social Security now, and
Yeah.
I saw that Chatham at the library a couple days ago, they had some kind of seminar for making the most out of your Social Security money or something.
Yeah,
So-
I should have went to that, but I had a couple things going on.
You heard about it?
That was Saturday morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's something like that,
I
yeah.
had a wedding to go to, and I kind of dedicated the whole day to them. So.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, there's strategies to stretch out the Social Security. It's not getting any better for future generations. Is at its peak in what, the 1950s or something, and now it's just.
Well, they should put all those people that have migrated across our borders to work and
Well, yeah.
make them pay us into the Social Security system like I did since day one.
Yeah, it's like I see a lot of abandoned homes as I'm traveling around, and there's homes just abandoned and just falling apart, and it's like if there could be a way to coordinate these migrants to these abandoned places in some way. I think it's difficult because people die and then the house goes abandoned and then forgotten, and people just leave it alone. And
Detroit.
there might be a little more action with the abandoned homes in the bigger cities. It's more known, but I'm talking, there's outskirts cities. There's like, a countryside where there's like a farmhouse that's just abandoned and left, overgrown trees and just everything. Sometimes you can barely see it. And there's stuff inside. I've walked through quite a few abandoned homes. You could walk along the woods here and just look off in the distance to see an abandoned home with no trail to it. You wonder. So there's places the people were living, making a life out of, that just went abandoned, and migrants could maybe take advantage of that in some way.
I'm sure the problem they would probably love that, because they probably even if it's dilapidated, it was probably 4 times what they left. The value of what they left. There's some desperate people.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's fun to travel too. I enjoy traveling. I mean, these migrants are having fun, especially when they're getting food in some way. If you're able to be fed, traveling, when you don't have the worries of survival as much, traveling can be pretty fun. Getting around and seeing different places.
Yeah.
I don't blame people for traveling. I wish I could go to South America, freely without worries. Because I mean, that's a whole new you know, half of the Americas to
Yeah.
check out, but
Yeah.
and a lot of them are coming from South America.
It's pretty brutal.
It's
From what I understand, it's pretty brutal.
what, socially or environmentally?
Yeah.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not so much environmentally. I mean, because
Yeah.
we're in a developed nation, like what we've gone through and industrializing and all the waste that it created. But
Yeah, we've got we got abandoned mines, we've got abandoned areas that are like too toxic for people to go into. They have to cordon off some sections of this country because it got too toxic from a certain activity. The old paper mills, mining areas, lead mining. There's an entire city in Oregon that's abandoned because of the lead mining. It got everywhere, the dust or something.
sure. Oh yeah, that dust is. Well, I just read a story here not too long ago, or heard it. Probably heard it. About some place where they were. It was on Joe Rogan, and the guy was talking about the gold. This place that was mining, and people would take their gold in there and they would melt it down and kiln it down and processes it into bars. Well, throughout the process of them heating it up, that stuff was going out the exhaust, and
Yep.
people were out.
Yep, I heard about that. I read about that. It happened in San Francisco, and it's going through the chimneys onto the roof.
Right.
But that's what I read. I don't know what Joe Rogan said, but
This was a guy that was I can't think of his name, but he was he knew about the West, and he was just fascinated. He's probably my age, 60 or 70. Probably he might have been 75 or 80, but his knowledge seemed to be so much in westward expansion.
yeah. If you travel around the West, I mean, there's signs, there's places where they have historical recreations of what happened in this area. There's signs that say this is where Jesse James robbed a train. If you travel around, you'll see these historical points of things that happened. The stuff that happened in Arizona with Tombstone. They got that in that city, that town, they have recreations almost every day of the battle that happens.
Yeah.
And you see pictures. The museums have unique things from the era. If you travel around, are there any decent? You see any? Do you go to museums? If they're Chatham, or do you ever see any good museums around here? Or not really. Okay, that's fine. I mean, Lincoln's a big part of the history for the country.
Abraham
The-
Lincoln Museum.
The recreation of his entire neighborhood,
Yeah.
or the preservation of his entire neighborhood. I mean,
Right.
some presidents usually just get their home preserved, but Lincoln gets his whole neighborhood preserved.
Well, that's politics around here.
Yeah. A historical politics.
I'll always say, Illinois, we got the best politicians money can buy.
Yeah. Have you ever hear of that lady in Dixon, the comptroller in Dixon?
Up north,
Yeah, it's up north.
and
Her name is Rita. She stole like $53 million as a comptroller. She was.
Right.
You ever hear about that? That was.
was she a horse enthusiast?
Yes, yeah, she is the horse lady. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
I did hear a couple years ago. I had read
That's
her.
for somebody in as a comptroller to be able to just funnel city money into her own personal account is something else. A city of that size, over 20 years to get 53 million.
Well, she must have corrupted the people that were also.
Yeah, the cult.
How could you go that long and steal that kind of money without
Yep.
your co-workers?
Yeah, the only complaint it sounds like they had was the roads were going bad and they couldn't afford to fix the roads. I mean, that's all I understood of what. And so their standards, or their culture, is like very forgiving in a lot of ways. I mean, yeah, it's more than just her being able to do that. There's a lot of support within that, the activity that she was doing. Maybe people are more willing to give their money away than to spend it on luxury. Maybe luxury is not as important in that area, so they don't get mad if they can't afford something.
Not me. I'm sure my family gets tired of listening to me harp.
Yep.
But no, I'm not like that. I'd be the first one to tell them to get the rope.
Yeah. I mean, live within modest means. I live within very modest means. As a traveler, I just learned, I can't only carry so many things in my car. So when I want to bring something new in at this point, something old has to go out. I don't collect like a lot of people have a tendency to, like hoarders or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I don't really have a big desire to pull in a lot of resources like other people.
Sometimes I think you're better off.
Yeah, and to be able to come out and visit places like this is a nice resource that I have access to. I don't need to own it. I just
Be nice to, but
be nice. What would I, for myself? Like this person's got all this private property. Maybe they're a farmer or something, but
well, I think he preserves that for
himself, right?
either that or doctors that want to hunt.
I mean, there's like 6 or 7 signs that say no trespassing around his little pond. Yeah, just in case you miss one, there's another one 20 feet down, circling around his pond. He's got an issue with people.
Well, sometimes you can't really blame them, because I've been to some areas where people go in rogue style,
Yeah,
they leave all kinds of trash.
Yeah,
And
it can catch you by surprise. Some areas that just fall apart.
I worked for a guy that had some land south of here, and I remember when I was working with him, we were on the job, and a phone call came in. They said they found somebody trespassing on his property down there, because he's got like, I don't remember how many it was, but 150 acres that he leases out to. But so he leased it out. He's made an agreement that, okay, you can hunt my property. I'm gonna take whatever it is, $1,500 or I don't even know. So he charged him. He has no choice, or otherwise he's gonna lose that agreement with maybe his friends, maybe his attorneys, maybe his doctor. So he says no. He says take them. He says they'll.
So he had some guy who trespassed on his property got arrested, or
they were hunting.
Okay,
hunting
just
illegally.
And yeah, so they caught him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they caught him. He was trespassing illegally.
And all right, and
hunting. A couple of them, they confiscate their guns. They confiscate
Yeah.
their vehicles.
yeah, there's a hunting dispute, and the hunting's coming up too. There's a hunting dispute back in 2007 in Rice Lake, Wisconsin. You might have heard of it. Asian guy killed like 6 people during hunt. Like he was on their property, and they found him, and they got in an argument, and they insulted this Asian guy. He was Hmong, I think, and then he just snapped and shot like 6, maybe 4 or 5 people. Died as a result of their scuffle. And then I was in Rice Lake. It made national news. This guy's in jail, but yeah, I was in Rice Lake, and there was a fear like he could be skulking around the city. We were warned to be careful until he got caught.
Yeah.
But he was far off in the woods, and he got picked up on the side of the road at some point. But yeah, land disputes. That's a lot of the cases that go into courthouses are land disputes. There's issues frequently with that, and it's like I drive past some houses that have apple trees with apples all on the ground. It's like some people, they have such a waste. You don't like seeing trash. I'm a little insulted to see apples with, apples laying on the ground going unused,
Yeah.
or some kind of vegetation like that that can be used. And I've heard about in Sweden where they allow people to go onto private property to pick these edible food sources.
Without the owner's permission?
Well, if the owner tried to dispute it, he might get told that it's legal for them to do. As far I don't know Sweden. I don't know. I only have a faint idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
But I see things like waste. I see farms where it's like the cow, it stinks. Farms that stink, so they try to crowd like 100 cows in a small area. You don't see any grass around. It's just mud, and they're just walking on their own poop, and it's disgusting. And I think there should be standards for that.
Here a couple years ago, someone, I don't know if they had just invented it or what, but they brought this up that they had some mats of some kind, or some kind of something they put down that they were experimenting with that absorbed all that.
Absorb cow poop or something?
Pee.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
it needs to be it needs to go through the whole biodegradable process.
Probably both.
And then bring up grass in place. It's in some way.
They'll chew it up.
I think chew up the grass. Yeah, I seen some cows in a cornfield. Some farmers will. I think it's a property dispute though, because I'll see just a tore up field with cows, and then a fence, and then the next field over it's all nice grass, kind of like what you see out in this field. I think it's a property dispute, more politics between neighbors more than actual proper agricultural management.
Yeah.
I think there's dispute. People don't like each other.
Well, sometimes that's true.
Some people love each other. Some people don't like each other. Some people hate each other. There's
Oh yeah.
there's issues between neighbors and neighborhoods
And there's people that go out there, they'll buy a 40-acre tract and they're from the city, and do they really know what it's like to live out in the country with a farmer that's next door on each side of you and back behind you and across
Yeah.
the road? And some of them are just grain farmers, but there's a lot of them that,
yeah.
I mean, if you move into a situation without that, before going out there and sitting
Yeah,
in the car and realize what's going on out there, and then when the wind comes from the south, I'm getting stuff from the hog confinement place that's 15 miles down the road.
Is there a hog confinement place? Is it? Are you just
some
using?
around here?
Are you okay? All right.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if you don't do your due diligence when
Yeah.
you go to buy something, really you don't have any room to complain.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're not just moving into that property that you're looking at buying. There's also the neighborhood you got to consider as part of the purchase, for sure. How's the neighborhood? So there's, yeah, and maybe good one year, but then the next things could change in some way.
Yeah.
Whatever, life and death and all of that. Yeah, there's so many factors that's changing. And I'm thinking, I see all these downed trees. They appear to have maybe fallen at the same time. I'm thinking maybe some kind of storm came through this area, because they'll look about the same age.
Yeah, we get some pretty vicious winds here, and then especially on that side over here behind me, there's that wind comes right across that lake, and there's no stopping it.
Okay. Yeah.
It comes right at it right there. So.
Yeah, that's well, they're leaning not with the lake. They're leaning, but there's things that change. You could have, you could be managing your property perfectly, but outside forces, come in to change everything.
Yeah, they don't go down there and clean up any what I call falls.
The falls of the trees? No, they. I think I've seen some cutting, but I don't know why.
Well, right alongside the road, they'll clean up.
Yeah, then push it into the woods.
They just kind of push it off the side, and then a city truck comes in here and picks it up.
That's not necessary. That's
Well, I don't think they want to drag it back in here. I think that just
there's better off than maybe take.
tears up equipment, or I mean, if it's right by the road, they'll.
Yeah, I don't know. I see so much waste with city utilities. This city's use of the resources. I feel is waste. I mean, like sometimes they snowplow things that don't look like it needs to be snowplowed in the winter.
Yeah.
Or they cut grass a little excessively, in my opinion. But I mean,
Yeah.
how do you dispute that? I'm not an expert. Just kind of, things seem a little excessive sometimes with the
Oh yeah.
with the operations that they do.
Yeah.
So and it takes individuals who know the area better than me to have the motivation to say something. So.
Oh yeah.
But it sounds like you just do something. You just kind of pick up trash.
Well, I pick up something. I mean, if it's
Here and there,
if it's glass or aluminum or whatever. I mean, if it's plastic, if it's straight white paper, if it's something that's going to biodegrade real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of times I'll let it lay, unless there's a big quantity of it laying right out here. It's an eyesore, but.
And do you know of any recycling plants nearby, or do
yeah.
you collect and do you turn in aluminum to the recycling?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a little benefit for you to pick up an aluminum can here and there. Then.
Yeah. Well, it just depends. I mean, a lot of that stuff I'll just throw in the trash cans down here.
Oh, it's not worth taking to the recycling plant. It's.
Some of it is, but I recycle at home. We recycle all of our papers and plastic, cardboard.
Okay.
And I get it out or take it.
Wow.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense. I'm driving a K2500 diesel, getting 14 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
So I pick up the recycling, and I take it over. I'm probably getting 13, 14 miles a gallon going to the recycle place, dropping it off, and going back home.
No, it's not worth it. Yeah, you want a smaller vehicle for that.
Or, I can't set it out.
Would you consider?
Stored it inside. I'm running water over it and rinsing it out.
Well,
So,
oh, yeah. So, like in Oregon, you're not allowed to crush the can.
Oh.
It has to. You can't crush the can, or they won't take it, or some.
They wouldn't take that, huh?
Is that crushed can? Yeah, in Oregon they wouldn't take that. In another state that I know of too, because they got little recycling centers at the Walmart, where it's a machine, and you just kind of put the whole can in and then you get money back somehow.
Oh, they give you money right then and there, huh?
Well, it's a receipt. Maybe Walmart gives the money.
Oh, okay.
But it's all like in front of some major stores. They'll have a little recycle, and there's people with big bags just in front, and it definitely has a smell to it, and these little centers. But
Yeah.
but other states you can crush the can. Maybe Illinois you can crush it and turn it in. You have experience.
I've never been told differently. So,
Yeah.
matter of fact, they sell can crushers.
Yeah. You don't want to crush your cans. So maybe their can crushers aren't going to sell as much in Oregon as opposed to other states.
Must be easier to recycle or something.
Yeah, this an honesty thing maybe, because the can has a particular weight, so and then the shape of it is set up. It's a way to measure. Some people will weigh down their cans, maybe put a little sand in there. So
Sure.
there's maybe they find the system of keeping the can whole more honest than the crushed can way of doing things.
Sure, yeah, I can put gravel in there.
Yeah. There's an honesty. There's a built. It's a system that it'd have to be compared and contrast. I don't know how much of a benefit it is over one method better than another. I don't know.
It makes sense now that you mentioned that. I never thought about that, but
Yeah, there's a lot of dishonesty in these in a lot of operations. It could be surprising. It could take years before you realize that something's going on. And
Yep.
So being vigilant is pretty, you know, questioning what's going on, you know, as often as you can is good, instead of accepting things as the way they are.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, I'm going to get moving. I'm kind of got a mission going on this afternoon.
All right.
So
Yeah, good talking with you.
you have a good day.
All right, you too.
Yep.